Breaking tonight, the most powerful man in the U.S. Senate comes out blazing in the war on the range as questions mount about his involvement in this fight. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. New reports out of Nevada tonight that Senator Harry Reid is going after rancher Cliven Bundy, calling him a lawbreaker, saying it is, quote, unfortunate that people decided to support Mr. Bundy. This comes just days after hundreds of people showed their support for the rancher, saying this battle is not about his cattle or unpaid grazing fees, but states' rights and government overreach. Now some are questioning why Mr. Reid is weighing in at this point after staying silent for so long in this dispute, asking whether he has a vested interest in this fight. Just yesterday, after it was over, he issued this warning.
Well, it's not over. We can't have an American people that violate the law and just walk away from it. So it's not over.
Chris Direwaltz is our Fox News digital politics editor and host of Power Play on FoxNews.com Live. Good to see you, Chris. So Harry Reid is out there saying it's not over. This is the first time he weighs in once it's over.
Well, right, and he's got his sunglasses on, so you know he means business about the whole thing. I'll be back.
What is going on? Because if you read the internet, there are all sorts of conspiracy theories about what his role is in this Nevada ranch dispute. What do we know?
What we know is that Nevada is different than a lot of states in the union in the sense that Harry Reid is the undisputed political honcho of that state. He runs Nevada politically. He is backed, of course, first and foremost by the gambling industry and unions. But, and here's a big but, in Nevada, the federal government runs about 44 million acres of that state. That makes the Bureau of Land Management very important in that state. It also makes it very important to the lots of developers who patronize Harry Reid and have funded his campaigns over the years.
Okay.
Now, Harry Reid
So if Harry Reid was going to be politically aligned with one group in this fight, the Bureau of Land Management, the feds, versus the rancher, Cliven Bundy, and those supporting him, one would have to put money on the Bureau of Land Management.
Well, sure, because the Bureau of Land Management is now run by a former Harry Reid aide. He got his man in the position to control 44 million acres in his state, 44 million acres, many of which are sought after by the developers who patronize Harry Reid politically. So Harry Reid has a lot of skin in this game at different points. Now, recently there was a political donor to Reid, one of Reid's patrons, a developer who got convicted of some campaign finance irregularities.
Well, he's appealing that, Chris.
He's appealing. It's complicated. The campaign finance laws are complicated. We stipulate that.
Harry Reid hasn't been accused of any wrongdoing in that. It's just some guy violated the law and giving him bunches of money.
Right. It just was like that. But there's a lot of money, just to indicate that there's a ton of money involved in this as it relates to Reid, developers, and that $44 million acres that the federal government controls.
But let me cut to the chase. What is the allegation? That Harry Reid would like to see Cliven Bundy and his cattle kicked off of these acres that he's been ranching for all these years because Mr. Reid would presumably like to offer it up to some developers that donate to his campaign coffers?
Well, the reality is there's a rising star Republican in Nevada, Brian Sandoval, the governor of that state, who beat Reid's son for the governorship in 2010. Harry Reid wants it to be very clear, I'm sure, that he is still the undisputed king politically of Nevada, and it does not go to that argument if ranchers and people on horseback are able to turn back the Bureau of Land Management troops that are under the command of Harry Reid's chosen designee to control that land and control that agency. So Reid, who is already talking about his next candidacy, wants to make it very clear, I'm sure, that number one, he can deliver when it comes to his promises, and nobody's going to back him down. And when it comes to the range war, he is the one to back. And I'm sure that he wants everybody, especially his donors, to know that.
What do you make of the timing of it? I mean, why everybody in Nevada was weighing in on this? You know, the governor and so on down was taking a position. Most of them were taking a position somewhat sympathetic to the ranchers, criticizing the Fed's tactics and other things. But Harry Reid stayed silent until yesterday, once it was done. And then he doubled down on his comments today, suggesting Cliven Bundy is a lawbreaker, this isn't over, and so on. Why is he talking so tough now that it's done?
Well, because it's done. It makes it a lot easier to talk tough about something when there isn't the imminent threat of violence. That's number one. Number two, Harry Reid spends most of his time dealing with Washington issues, dealing with here, talking about the Koch brothers, trying to keep control of the Senate for Democrats so that he stays the majority leader. But he's back in Nevada now. They're on their Easter break, and it's time for him to shore up his control of that state politically. And this is part of doing that. Plus, he looks good in sunglasses, so he wants to do that.
If you say so. All right, Chris. Thank you.
You bet.